Hi guys, it's Stacy with Handmade by Stacy J. For this week's knitting tutorial, I'm going to bring you the Leafy Lace knitting stitch. It's a beautiful stitch that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to have it on with a piece of paper in the backing so you can actually see it. So it's very lacy and it's so pretty, and I really think you'll enjoy it. Each panel is worked over 10 stitches and it's really not too difficult once you get the hang of it. So I'll walk you through all the steps. Before we get started, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll be bringing you more tutorials to come. So grab your needles, grab some yarn, and let's get started. The stitch is worked in multiples of 10 plus 1, and it's worked over a 16 row repeat. So for this example, I cast it on 31, and I've done 2 repeats of the 16 rows so that we can get a good idea of what this stitch looks like. And it's got a beautiful open, airy area where you have the middle of what looks like a leaf. And it's really neat watching how these stitches just move right on up into the middle of it. It's just a really interesting pattern. Plus you have these areas here where they act as ridges, where you're knitting through the back loop, purling through the back loop. It just adds a really, really neat texture. Now when I go through this tutorial with you, I'm only going to go through this panel, and then we'll do it once more over on this one. And then when I come to this third one, I'm just going to skip past that in the video, so that way we're only working with 2 at a time, because it is the same 10 stitches plus 1 for every single row. So let's go ahead and get started. For row 1, we're going to begin by knitting 1. Whoops. Then we're going to begin the row repeat, which is to purl 9. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to knit into the back loop. So knit in that back loop, and then that's your row repeat. So we're going to do that one more time. So purl 9, and then knit in the back loop. For row 2, which is your wrong side, we're going to begin by purling 1. Then we begin our row repeat, which is to knit 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then purl 1. Then we're going to knit 9 once more. This is right back to your row repeat. So it's knit 9, purl 1. For row 3, we're going to repeat row 1. So we'll do that with a knit 1. Then we're going to purl 9 and then knit through the back loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then knit in the back loop. And there's that row repeat, so we'll do that again. Purl 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and knit in the back loop. For row 4, we're going to repeat row 2. So we will purl 1, then we begin our repeat of knit 9, purl 1. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, purl 1. Then knit 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, purl 1. And that's how you will continue with that row. For row 5, we're going to begin by knitting 1. And now the stitch pattern repeat is to purl 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to purl 2 together. After we do that, we'll yarn over and we're going to knit in the back loop. Then we're going to yarn over and purl 2 together. Then we're going to purl 2, knit in the back loop. And that's that panel repeat. So let's do that one more time. We're going to purl 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to yarn over, or I'm sorry, not yarn over. Then we're going to purl 2 together. Then we will yarn over and we're going to knit in the back loop. Then we yarn over once more and purl 2 together. Then purl 2 and knit in the back loop. For row 6, we'll begin with purling 1. Then we're going to begin the row repeat. And that is to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to purl in the back loop. Then knit 4. Then purl 1. And then you repeat that again. So we're going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, purl in the back loop, go through the back, purl, then we're going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now purl 1. And that's your pattern repeat for that row. For row 7, we'll begin with knitting 1. Then we begin our row repeat, or our stitch pattern repeat, which is to purl 1, purl 2 together, yarn over, and then we're going to knit into the back loop 3 times. So knit in that back loop 3 times. That's 2 and 3. Then we're going to yarn over, purl 2 together. Then we're going to purl 1 and then knit in the back loop. Now let's do that repeat one more time. So we're going to purl 1, purl 2 together, yarn over, knit in the back loop 3 times. 1, 2, 3, then yarn over, purl 2 together. Then purl 1 and knit in the back loop. And that's your stitch repeat for that row. For row 8, we're going to begin by purling 1. And our stitch pattern repeat is to knit 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to purl through the back loop 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3, and purl 1. Okay, let's do that once more. We're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Purl through the back loop 3 times. It's 1, 2, 3. Then we will knit 3. 1, 2, 3, and end with a purl 1. Before we begin row 9, I wanted to show you what your stitch should be looking like. As you can see where the yarn overs have really opened it up, and then all of your knit in the back loops and purl through the back loops are all working together right here in the center. So let's go ahead and start our row 9. So row 9 begins with a knit 1. Now to begin our stitch pattern repeat, we're going to purl 2 together. Then we're going to yarn over, knit through the back loop 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to yarn over, purl 2 together. Then knit in the back loop. Okay, let's do that one more time. We're going to purl 2 together, yarn over, knit through the back loop 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then yarn over, purl 2 together. Then knit in the back loop. For row 10, we'll begin with purling 1. Then we will begin the stitch pattern repeat of knitting 2. That's 1, 2, and then we're going to purl through the back loop 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to knit 2 and purl 1. So let's do that once more. We're going to knit 2 and purl through the back loop 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes this last one's a little bit pesky, and 5. Then we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and purl 1. For row 11, we'll begin by knitting 1. Then we're going to begin the stitch pattern repeat by purling 1. Then we're going to yarn over, knit through the back loop 2 times. 1, 2. Now we're going to work an SK2PO, which means slip, knit 2 together, and pass that slip stitch over. So with the yarn in the back, we're going to slip purlwise, knit those next 2 stitches together, and then slip or pass that slip stitch over. Then we're going to knit through the back loop 2 times. So that's 1 and 2. Then we're going to yarn over, purl 1, and knit in the back loop. So let's do that one more time. We're going to purl 1, yarn over, knit in the back loop 2 times. Then we're going to slip purlwise with the yarn in back, knit 2 together, and pass that slip stitch over, just like so. Then we're going to knit in the back loop 2 times. So 1 and 2. Then yarn over, purl 1, and knit in the back loop. Row 12 is a repeat of row 10. So we're going to begin by purling 1. Then we're going to knit 2. Then purl through the back loop 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to knit 2 and purl 1. It's 1, 2, purl 1. So that's your stitch repeat. So let's try that one more time. We're going to knit 2, then purl through the back loop 5 times. Then we'll knit 2 and purl 1. For row 13, we're going to knit 1. Then our pattern repeat, or our stitch pattern repeat, is to purl 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to yarn over, knit into the back loop. Then we're going to do another SK2PO. So we're going to slip purlwise with yarn in the back, knit 2 together, and pass that slip stitch over. Then we're going to knit into the back loop 1 time, then yarn over, purl 2. Then knit in the back loop. So let's do that one more time. We're going to purl 2, yarn over, knit into the back loop. Then we're going to slip purlwise with yarn in back, knit 2 together, pass that slip stitch over, and then knit in the back loop. Then yarn over, purl 2. Then finish out with a knit in the back loop. Row 14 is a repeat of row 8. So we're going to begin by purling 1. Then our stitch pattern repeat begins by knitting 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to purl in the back loop 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3, and purl 1. So let's do that one more time. We're going to knit 3. Then we're going to purl through the back loop 3 times. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then we will knit 3 and end with a purl 1. So this is what you should have so far before we begin row 15. And on this row, we're going to close up this part of the stitch. So let's go ahead and get started on this. We're going to begin by knitting 1. Now the stitch pattern repeat begins by purling 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to yarn over, slip purlwise with yarn in the back, knit 2 together, pass that slip stitch over, then we're going to yarn over, purl 3. 1, 2, 3, and then knit in the back loop. So let's do this one more time. We're going to purl 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, slip, knit 2 together, pass that slip stitch over, then yarn over, purl 3. Then finish off by knitting in the back loop. For row 16, which is our final row for the stitch pattern row repeat, we're going to begin by purling 1. Now we're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to purl in the back loop 1 time. Then knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and purl 1. Let's do this one more time. So knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, purl in the back loop 1 time, then knit 4, 2, 3, 4, and then purl. So after completing row 16, this is what your piece should look like. Now when you're ready to bind off, I would recommend working rows 1 and 2 one more time and then binding off, so that way you have a little bit more of a bottom or a top border. And you could even do rows 1 through 4 and then bind off. That's totally up to you. But I do hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I will see you soon with more tutorials. Have a great day and happy knitting. Bye-bye.